You also host a podcast called Your First Home Buyer's Guide. Now, sadly, we've ended up in a situation of a two-tiered society, the haves and the have-nots, haven't we, in terms of real estate and owning real estate, especially in Sydney and Melbourne.
Mm.
What advice can you give someone trying to or struggling to get into the market for the first time?
Well, we give a lot of advice on that podcast, of course. But one of the key things I would say is that a lot of first home buyers get really caught up with listening to the wrong people. And that is dad, quite often. You know, how many properties has dad owned or bought over his lifetime? And dads do tend to be a little bit more like you. You're a dad, you're doing this. You're doing this podcast. Sometimes mums, but more dad. So by listening to people that might be well-meaning, but actually are out of touch with the market and the way things are. So that's sort of the first thing. The second thing that I would advise first home buyers to do is to look at who they get advice from. So and what advice they get from those people. Like, for example, mortgage brokers. We absolutely recommend that people use mortgage brokers, but a lot of mortgage brokers will give property advice for free, and they are not property experts. So you have to be very careful. You take finance advice from the mortgage broker, not property advice from the mortgage broker. And another thing that I would say to all first home buyers is be very careful about the grants that you're looking at taking from the government, because government grants of first home buyers have a lot of objectives around them, a lot of reasons for existing, and very few of them are really about helping a first home buyer buy the right property. And what they are, in fact, very much about supporting the construction industry and making sure that developments go ahead with pre-sales, et cetera, et cetera. And they're a lot bigger, the impact on the economy as a whole is a lot bigger than it is for one little tiny individual first home buyer to make the right decision. And yet that is encouraging first home buyers to buy into the riskiest segment of the market, and that is the brand new or off the plan segment. So you just have to be very, very careful about free money from the government. Feels compelling. You want to grab every dollar you can, but have to think about false economies here. And perhaps if it's going to cost you in the long run because it's forcing you to buy a type of property that you might either outgrow too quickly because it's too small in the form of an apartment, or might actually lose money over time, and you're going to get stuck with that, and you get stuck on that first rung of the ladder. You've got to be very, very careful.
It's funny, when I asked you that question, I wanted to say something along the lines of, it always seems that the developers seem to get the grant more than the purchase, but you kind of said that already without me needing to.